one of those games that I was so excited about and was one of my most anticipated games of the year before it came out was Death Stranding. Of course, the game from Hideo Kojima and Kojima Productions that was published, of course, by Sony. And guys, I played this game and I gotta say that it was such a different kind of game and I loved it. I mean, I loved the game. I loved the world. I loved everything pretty much about it. The only thing that I didn't love about it was probably just the a period of time it took to get from one place to another at times. And then, of course, I also just, you know, at the end of the game, there's just, I guess, after it's all done, after the campaign's done, there's not going to be any spoilers here, guys, but at the end of the game, there's just nothing else. Once you're done, it's like, oh, well, I would love to play multiplayer or co-op modes or something within, Death Stranding. And none of that stuff exists. It's just pretty much a campaign, right, at this point. Now, there's been talks, guys, of DLC and things of that nature for Death Stranding, but I gotta say that it's such a good game. And I want to talk here in this segment about Death Stranding 2 and when can we expect a sequel, because I think there's so much more to be told here about Death Stranding. So let's talk about it. Guys, like I said, Death Stranding was a game that really just opens up like some of your imagination and the graphics and like this new world, and you're exploring it, and it just was so well done and crafted. I thought the voice acting was impeccable. I thought the game direction by Hideo was great. I just thought the music, the soundtrack, just everything, guys, was so good. There were little annoyances here and there, like trying to get from point A to point B took a while and stuff like that. But all in all, Death Stranding was close to, pretty much I called it a walking masterpiece, really. I thought that it's like a walking masterpiece. And that being said, if obviously they're not adding other modes like, co-op modes, and I always kind of compare Death Stranding to like a Minecraft, like what you could maybe do if you like had your own server and you could, build your own kind of world and stuff like that, or deliver things for your own, to kind of create your own world. I always thought that would be really neat. It kind of reminded me a little bit of something like Minecraft. But when can we expect Death Stranding 2? It's been announced and really, we're waiting for full confirmation about this, but it sounds like Hideo Kojima is going to continue what he started with Silent Hills, and Norman Reedus will probably be coming into the fold and will be working with Hideo once again on Silent Hills. Of course, the horror game that was PT, playable teaser, that everyone was talking about, and then of course it got canceled because Hideo and Konami, they basically split and they had real issues. But Sony seems to be able to bring those two together as far as, kind of patching that torn friendship between Hideo and Konami. And now it looks like Silent Hills is going to be made. And so let's just say, guys, for the sake of the conversation, that Silent Hills is going to be made. We know it's probably going to take, Hideo works really fast on things, but at the same time, I feel like it's going to take a little time before this game would come out. At least a couple of years. And Death Stranding, we know that he was able to get a lot of things done in that game relatively quickly. However, I feel that Silent Hills isn't going to be as big of a game, most likely, as Death Stranding. Probably not even close to as big. But it's still going to take time. So I'm going to say 2 to 3 years for them to get Silent Hills done. Then after that, Death Stranding would be something that I'm sure Hideo would potentially come back to. And if he did, with a sequel, which they could do so much, I feel like they would probably, I would say you're obviously going to need maybe even more time than you would with Silent Hills to get Death Stranding 2 made. So, all in all, I think we're probably close to we could be close to a decade away from Death Stranding 2. It might be a ways off, but it might be closer than you think, because Hideo might have some tricks up his sleeve as to how he's going to approach this. Get Silent Hills done a lot quicker, like in a year or so, and then move onwards to back to Death Stranding, kind of go back and forth, which would be very interesting. Silent Hills, guys, is a game that everyone has wanted to see. I mean, people have at least want that to exist in gaming, right? And we're finally going to get it, and hopefully it's a great game and a great addition. But I do want to see Death Stranding 2. And there's a lot of ways in which I think that places that they could maybe go with the franchise. But we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. At this point, I think Hideo has stated in the past that he would be open to making more Death Stranding games, but at this point, I think if he's working on Silent Hills, that's not going to happen for a while. So when can we expect the sequel, guys? I think if Silent Hills is something that's definitely happening, and I'm assuming it is, it's a ways off. But if Silent Hills is not going to be coming, then Death Stranding 2 might be closer than you think. The same thing can be said, though, for the DLC of Death Stranding. I think Death Stranding very well might have some DLC at some point or another, which I think a lot of us would really enjoy, to have more and more DLC, more ways in which we can come back and can connect with the franchise. I think that many of us want that. We're wanting to continue going into the Death Stranding world. I think that that is something that many people really want to do. But with that said, I want to know from you guys, what do you guys want to see in Death Stranding 2? And when do you think that we can expect the sequel to the game? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And for more Death Stranding 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.